For 2 long months, the haunting mystery of Jay Slater's disappearance in Tenerife hung over his loved ones like a dark cloud. Now, at last, the 19-year-old's family has brought him home. After weeks of agonizing searches in the rugged hillsides of Masca and a media storm that seemed to amplify the family's grief, Jay's body has finally been flown back to the UK, accompanied by his devastated mother, Debbie, and other close relatives. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. His return, though heartbreaking, has offered a small measure of closure. For the first time since June, the Slater family can begin to plan the farewell they never wished to face. The long journey home. On a warm August evening, the aircraft touched down at Manchester Airport under grey skies. Inside the plane's cargo hold was a coffin draped in white roses, flown directly from Tenerife. Debbie, clutching a framed photo of her only son, described the journey as the hardest of her life. "We left the UK with hope," she whispered through tears to reporters gathered at the airport gates. "Now we've come back with heartbreak. But Jay is finally home where he belongs." The homecoming was somber yet deeply symbolic. For 2 months, the family had battled bureaucracy, official silence, and the endless chatter of online speculation. Debbie had pleaded with authorities, fundraised to support the search, and endured vile trolling from strangers who treated her grief as gossip fodder. Now, seeing her son return to the soil he grew up on marked a turning point, a move from frantic searching to the painful preparations of farewell. Funeral plans revealed. As Jay's body arrived back in the UK, the family also shared details of his funeral, a service they describe as a celebration of Jay's spirit. The service will take place at St. Michael's Church in Oswestwizel, Lancashire, the small community where Jay grew up and where everyone seemed to know his cheeky grin. The church, with its stone walls and stained glass windows, will open its doors to hundreds of mourners expected to attend. Jay's best friends have insisted on a vibrant service rather than a purely solemn one. His cousin, Lewis, explained, "Jay wasn't the type of lad to sit quietly in the corner. He was the one making people laugh, cracking jokes, blasting his music. We want his funeral to reflect that. It's going to hurt, but it'll also be about remembering the joy he brought." The service will include readings from friends, a slideshow of his life, from baby photos to snapshots of holidays, parties, and his beloved nights out, and a playlist of Jay's favorite tracks, which ranged from dance anthems to indie classics. Following the church service, Jay will be laid to rest at Accrington Cemetery, a short drive from his childhood home. His family has invited the community to join them in a final farewell procession, led by white doves and floral tributes shaped like footballs, cars, and even the PlayStation controller he was never without. A mother's strength. Debbie Duncan, Jay's mother, has emerged as the heartbreaking center of this story. In the space of weeks, she has endured the unimaginable, waiting for news in Tenerife while battling local red tape, then facing online abuse from trolls who spread false stories about her son. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Through it all, she has shown resilience. Speaking after Jay's body arrived in the UK, Debbie admitted she is exhausted but grateful. "I don't think I've even started grieving yet. For weeks, I've been fighting for answers, for help, for support. Now that Jay is back, maybe I can finally let myself break down. I know he'd want me to keep going, but right now, all I want is to hold his memory close." Her words echo the bittersweet relief that comes with closure. As she stood outside the funeral home where Jay now rests, she held a candle lit by locals and whispered, "You're safe now, son." Community grief. Jay's disappearance had gripped not just his family, but the wider community of Oswestwizel and beyond. For weeks, locals organized vigils, shared missing posters, and followed every update from Tenerife. When news of his confirmed death finally broke, the village fell silent. Shops placed candles in their windows. School friends laid flowers at the gates of Jay's old secondary school. At the pub where Jay had celebrated his last birthday, staff arranged a framed photo of him behind the bar with a pint of lager beside it. "He was just a lad with his whole life ahead of him," said one of the bartenders, her voice breaking. Now, with funeral plans revealed, the community is preparing to gather in numbers not seen since the vigils. Churches, local halls, and social media groups are rallying people together to ensure Jay's send-off is as full of love as possible. The Tenerife mystery. Though the family is focused on Jay's funeral, questions still hang over his final days in Tenerife. He vanished on June 17th after a night out with friends on the island's south coast. The last sighting placed him in the remote Masca Valley, where he was reportedly walking alone in blistering heat. Despite extensive searches by Spanish police, drones, and volunteers, Jay remained missing for weeks. When his body was finally discovered in late August, the announcement sparked both relief and devastation. Relief that the search was over, devastation that the outcome was final. The official inquest into his death will take place in the UK later this year, with coroners working to piece together what happened in those final hours. For now, however, his family has asked the public to allow them space to grieve. A celebration of life. One striking detail about Jay's funeral is the family's decision to encourage color rather than traditional black attire. Debbie explained, "Jay loved bright colors, especially orange. He'd laugh if we all turned up in black suits and looked miserable. We want people to wear what makes them feel like Jay is there with them, something fun, something lively." Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There are plans for a charity football match in his honor later this year, with proceeds going towards search and rescue charities who helped during the Tenerife operation. Local bands have also pledged to perform at a memorial concert, with tickets raising money for youth clubs in the area, something Jay himself had attended as a boy. Friends farewell. Perhaps the most poignant tributes will come from Jay's closest circle of friends, many of whom had flown with him to Tenerife for what was supposed to be a carefree holiday. His best friend, Lucy May Law, who tirelessly shared updates during the search, is expected to speak at the funeral. "He wasn't just my mate," she said. "He was like my brother. Every night, I still check my phone expecting a message from him. I don't think that feeling will ever go away." Others plan to leave personal mementos inside his coffin: letters, football scarves, even a small speaker to symbolize his love of music. The final goodbye. The day of the funeral will undoubtedly be one of the hardest moments for Debbie and her family. Yet there is comfort in knowing they will not face it alone. Hundreds, perhaps thousands, of mourners are expected to line the streets of Ozzeltwizel as the hearse makes its slow journey to St. Michael's. Bells will toll, doves will rise into the sky, and for one last time, the community will stand united for Jay. The service will end with a simple message chosen by Debbie herself: "Forever 19, forever loved." Legacy of a short life. Though Jay's life ended tragically young, his story has left an indelible mark. His name will forever be tied to the valleys of Tenerife, the vigils in Lancashire, and the sea of faces who rallied behind his family. His mother's resilience has inspired many who followed the case, reminding the world that behind every headline is a family aching for answers. As preparations for the funeral continue, one thing is clear: Jay's send-off will not be defined by his death, but by the way he lived. His laughter, his energy, his love for his friends and family, these are the memories that will fill the church when his loved ones gather to say goodbye. And when the final hymn is sung and the last tear is shed, Jay Slater's name will echo not as a tragic mystery, but as a young man who was deeply, endlessly loved. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.